Well, folks, we are but 1 week away from the Christmas holiday, a time where all Christians across the globe celebrate the birth of our risen Christ. And as we commune together with our family and friends over the next 2 weeks, let us not forget and remember those with less, and those who deserve more, and those who want to be simply left the heck alone. 11 months of despair have fallen upon our nation behind Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. Sit back. You have the newest episode of the Closet Conservative Podcast. Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. I am your host today, Eric Wright. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to close your eyes for a moment. That's right. We're going to perform a little fundamental therapy technique for all of our listeners today for them to reminisce about where their lives were just a short 11 months ago. Where were you? Where was your family? Were you and your spouse employed? How about your kids? Were they in school? Were they vaccinated? Were they quarantined? Were they able to participate in extracurricular activities and engage in athletics? And how about your gas tank? Could you afford 11 months ago to fill up the family car? Did you have enough food? Do you now? How about those grocery prices? Have you and your family had to cut back on what you eat or remove items from your shopping cart or lists? How about this? Do you feel safe? Ever find yourself looking out your front window and wonder if you and your family are at risk for crime? What about riding down the street, going to the bank, or even shopping during this holiday season? Do you feel safe? Do you feel fear? What about America's stance in the world today? Are you anxious about international policies and politics, or the invasion of our country by undocumented or illegal aliens, some of which are documented criminals and or terrorists? What about your future? Do you believe yours and that of your family is better today than 11 months ago? Today being December 18th, 2021. 11 months ago, January the 20th. Okay, I want you all to open up your eyes, but as wide as you can. And folks, if anyone listening today firmly believes that their lives and that of their loved ones are better today under the leadership of Joe Biden and the Democrat Party, then folks, 2022 will be no different than 2021, but it ought to be very interesting. You know, I've traveled quite extensively over the last 3 months, and I can tell you that a vast majority of those who I've spoken to have had it, are fed up with the politics and the pandering by today's liberal machine. You know, I was out in Phoenix, Arizona earlier this week, and many people who I spoke with about their decision in 2020 led to most admitting that Trump was indeed right on most of what he said and what was to come. For 4 years, the American people were working. Unemployment was non-existent. The cost of living was stable, and the future was bright for all Americans, but especially minorities. Now, under the same old dumpster dive policies of today's Democrat Party, many Americans have lost faith in their president, their state and federal leadership, and the communistic push and pull that is tearing our nation apart. Our country deserves better and had better. Look at the damage that Democrats have done to our country in just 11 months. Folks, Your freedom, if you thought it was bad under a Republican president, look at what's occurred over the last 11 months. Your freedom means nothing. Your wants mean nothing. Your liberties mean nothing. And why? Because your government said that to be true. And for some of you listening, you bought it. You bought it hook, line, and sinker. And folks, for you Republicans and you conservatives out there, don't think for 1 second that just because there's an R in front of a candidate's name that they're responsible, because they're not. Take a look at the Republicans that voted to increase the debt ceiling by $2.5 trillion. Folks, you can't keep just printing money. It doesn't work that way. Regardless of what AOC says in her Boston University MBA in economics, which is fairly strange. But look at the damage in 11 months. Businesses are folding. People are sitting on the couch. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything unless you see a sign that says, sorry, we don't have this. Sorry, our days are closed. Sorry, we're closing early. Sorry, you got to stand in line for 45 minutes to buy your groceries. Why? Because of Joe Biden and the Democrat Party and their pandering policies. That is why. And folks, if nothing changes, we have 3 more years of this. I can promise you, America cannot spend $14 trillion a year for another 3 years and have our people sit on their butts on the couch and not go to work for another 3 years. We all will be homeless. We all will be jobless. And we will have no one else but each other to blame. So as you come together with your family and your friends this holiday season, know the truth. The truth is that we celebrate the birth of our risen Christ. That is what we celebrate. We also must know that we are to give. You give till it hurts. You see someone in need, you reach out to them. You see a child in need, you reach out to them. And folks, reach out to your neighbor. If you see that they are suffering, bring them to the good side. Bring them to the light and let them know that, hey, we don't have to do this for another 3 years. There is a change and it can come, but it can't come if we rely on one another and not be informed. Help your neighbor during this holiday season. Show them the light of Christ. Show them the light of conservatism. As always, thank you for joining in today. I'm your host, Eric Wright. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Happy New Year. I will see you in 2022.